Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around Town. I'm Elizabeth Graff. We're here at the home of Tim Truelove, and that name might sound familiar to you. If you've watched our show earlier, we talked about the winners of the birdhouse contest, the St. Patrick's birdhouse contest, and I have the winner of them all, and the birdhouse is beautiful. And all of them, everyone who entered the contest, they all did a really good job, but yours really stood out. It's immaculate. It's gorgeous. And tell us about how you got started in making the birdhouses. This is your second year, but tell us how you got started in the whole business of building the birdhouses.
Well, like I said, I started a couple of years ago. I was building one for my wife, and a friend come by, and they said I should enter it in that contest. You know, I didn't know nothing about it, and my father-in-law said something about it, and so I was in the middle of the project, you know, when I started doing it, and I said, well, I kind of tweak a couple of things here, you know. I try to fix it up for it, and I fixed it up, and I really didn't know what I was up against, so I kind of, you know, throwed a lot in there, and it worked out, you know, and everybody loved it last year. And like I said, everybody else had a lot of great birdhouses too, and everybody put a lot of time and stuff like that. And I think it's wonderful that people, you know, out there still does some things like that and try to get out there with everybody and, you know, show a little bit of talent that people do. But I did that one, and you know, and I have to start early on those birdhouses.
Well, of course. The one that you did last year, how long did that take?
The one last year, I didn't have a shop or nothing to build that one in. I actually built that one in the backyard. Yeah. You know, it's up under a carport. And I tinkered with it every day and, you know, every other day or whatever. And I say it probably took me probably 5 or 6 months to do that one, you know.
How far were you into it when your friend said, you know what, you need to enter that in that contest?
I've been working on it probably, I wasn't quite halfway through with it yet.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody said something about it.
So he saw your potential.
I suppose. But
so now this one, you guys are going to cringe when you hear the answer to this question. What did you do after you won last year's contest? What did you do with your birdhouse?
I gave it to my stepson. He lives in Atlanta, and he does so much for the family. Yeah. You know, I had people wanting to buy it, but he's done so much for the family through the years, you know, and I wanted to give him something.
That's good. And he put it
outside,
in his
right? He put it in his backyard.
Outside.
Which I got them fixed up. They're sealed and everything, so they're
made for the outside.
They're made for the outside.
Made for the outside. Now, you know, take a look at what he did this year's contest, and you know, when you see something like that, you think that needs to be on display, which in fact it is. Over at the library, and it's on display. When you walk in, you can take a look at it on the right. And now, do you have plans on putting that one outside too?
We haven't decided yet. I don't know if we're thinking of maybe putting it online and selling it or something. Mm-hmm. But if we keep it, you know, I was going to put it out here somewhere.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, I was going to.
You got some lucky birds. If you put it out here, they're going to be flocking. Now, it can hold, is it right, did I say 17 nests?
It accommodates 17 nest areas.
Oh, gosh. Now, I was told that you got your idea for this year's from a picture that you saw. Is that right?
It was a picture of I went online and I found a bunch of log cabins and stuff. And me and a friend that I was working with, I asked him, you know, which of them he think I should build, and of course he picked a really hard one to build. You know, he said, I think you ought to build that one. He was just really cutting up, I think, when he said it. I said, I'll build that one, you know. And So I scaled it off, and I went by the front door on it. Front door is usually 3 foot. So I kind of went from that, and I scaled the whole house off that picture and got a rough idea how big the house was. So the birdhouse is actually built on a 1/2 inch scale. Every 1/2 inch is a foot.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So I was going to ask, what would be the 3 feet for your door? So that would be 3 inches.
That would be
so
inch and a half.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
So how your finished birdhouse, how big is that? How wide and how tall?
I can't recall what the overall. I think the longest length part of it was about 42 inches long. So that would make the house 84 foot long.
Yeah. And this isn't just any old wood that you used for it either.
No, it's heart pine that it was stuff that was originally supposed to go back into a building. The building was over 100 years old,
Wow.
and it was stuff that couldn't be used back in there. It wasn't long enough because there was some damaged parts and stuff of it, and it was going to be thrown away. And I just kept it. I said, well, I can use stuff I can make something out of that, and that's I make all kind of stuff from it, I make countertops, porch swings, and stuff like that, and fix it up so it'll be weather resistant. And heart pine is weather resistant anyway.
Now, what is heart pine?
Heart pine, it comes from long needle pine trees. Like most of the pines you see is short needle or slash or something like that. But long needle pines, they were very big pines that were growing here back when the English or whatever come over, and they decided, they said, well, that's what we're going to build this nation from. Is these great trees that's here, and they used them. They really they used a lot of it on up till about the end of the 1800s, and they started running out of it. And you could on up to about 1920, 1925, you can get. They still had trim, small stuff that was from it, but they run out of it. They went through them trees. There's no more. They grow long needle pines now, but these back then they were like 9 foot in diameter. And I've looked it up on the internet, and it says it takes 30 years for a long needle pine to gain 1 inch in girth.
Wow.
And that's why the wood grain is so tight.
Right.
It's
wow.
It makes it very strong, and the only way you can come across that now is through restoration. There's no more of the trees like that anymore.
Right. So you've got the stone that you have around the base and up the chimney too. And where did you get that stone?
It's river rocks, and I actually just went and looked around. I found what the kind I wanted out at Home Depot. And I had to buy like 4 bags of it because I had to hand pick it, the ones that I want to use. And it took a while to do the rocks. I say that was about the most tedious part of it was the stone.
Now, how accurate is your birdhouse to the original picture of the ski lodge, of the log cabin?
Of course, the windows and doors. The birdhouse don't have any doors. I had to accommodate for the bird openings. And that kind of swapped the windows around a little bit on it, and but everything else is pretty close to being just like the picture, and except for the fireplaces. I put one on each end of this one, and the one in the picture, it's right out the center.
Oh, so it would have messed up some bird's little nest.
And but everything else I kept. I couldn't see the back side of the house, so I kind of used my own imagination on the back of the birdhouse.
Wow, really? Is the back? Was that the part with the
That's with
deck?
the deck and everything on the back.
Nice.
I
You've got a
was
great imagination.
I was going to make that a in-ground pool, make it look like and be a bird bath,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But I said, well, you know, I don't know how that might turn out in the competition. So I said I'll make this another birdhouse here, and I'll just put a deck over it, you know, make it a porch.
Yeah. So when you decided, when you got started on this, was it your intention on entering the contest for it this year?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I was doing it for, is to put it back into up there at the mall at the contest.
Yeah.
I really enjoy people seeing stuff like that, you know, and that's the biggest thing. It ain't really so much about winning it, you know, because, I mean, like I said, everybody really deserves congratulations on stuff that they did, because everybody's in there everybody really put a lot of heart and time into it.
You can tell. You can tell. I wanted to ask you one more thing about your birdhouse. What is the roof made of?
Wood.
That's just wood? Because
Yes.
it looks like tin.
I took and routed it. I run the router across it, and I fixed it. Made it look like ribs, you know, in the metal, and I paint it. When I paint it with flat black, you know, and I'll sand it and whatever, you know, put me about a couple coats of it, and then I'll seal it, put that sealer on it.
Yeah.
And that's what gives it its shine.
That shine, yeah. Oh, that is fascinating. All right, well, we're going to go for a break right now, but when we come back, we'll talk more with Tim Truelove about his skill in carpentry, so stay with us. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Around Town, here with Tim Truelove, carpenter extraordinaire. Now, you've got this awesome shed back here, your man cave, right?
I suppose.
Yeah. So you've got a Facebook page, and I'm going to mess up on the name, maybe, Transcendent Carpentry?
Yes, Transcendent Carpentry.
Okay, so why did you choose the name Transcendent Carpentry, and what can people find when they go there?
Well, you see a lot of names of stuff out there, you know, but I wanted to put, you know, give a name of something that really stood out, that, you know, and that had a meaning. And transcendent, you know, it means above average, you know, excellence, stuff like that. And that's kind of what I was looking for, you know. Like I said, you hear a lot of businesses, you know, that's and they got their own name or whatever, and I was just wanting to do something a little different that stood out, and that's why I come up with that, you know. And when you go on the web page, it's on Facebook. I'm gonna get another web page started that's, you know, actually on the internet itself, other than Facebook. And you can see a lot of work that I've done.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I've ever done ain't on there. It's just stuff that's pictures that's been taken of. And there's a number of different things on there. There's a toy box. I built that for my granddaughter.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
they're like her and my grandson. They're like my number one fans. You know, they come out here and they're just all in there. I'll fix them up with a little project over there they can mess with.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
how old are they?
Destiny, she is 8, and Rylan is 2.
Oh, I bet they love getting their hands on what do you have them hammer and maybe sanding and painting or?
Yeah, Rylan's, of course, has got his own little toy stuff over there. Got him a little workstation
Yeah, a
fixed
little
up.
handy-manny kind of thing.
And he feels like he's helping out, you know, and they kind of stay off to the side over there, you know, and I'll fix them up with something that they can get over there and mess with, and they love it, you know. But I love having them out here too.
Yeah. This is great. We're getting to know the man behind the work here, the man behind that beautiful birdhouse. So, you do carpentry. You do a lot of wood work. How did you get started into that?
Well, I kind of worked my way up from different things. I started out doing home exterior work, you know. doing vinyl siding, different types of siding, metal roofs and stuff like that. And I kind of worked my way into the house. I helped a different company and that was building houses. And I done that for a little while, and I got real familiar with that, and I started doing some commercial work. I still do commercial work, and I went on from there, and I worked my way into doing restoration work. And that's what I really love doing. I found that I love doing that the most.
So something that's old, you like to make it new again.
I like to take something that don't look like anything and make something out of it.
Like what? What'd you do?
Well, one of the last things I've done, I took some pallets and I made some end tables out of them.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of things on Facebook and Pinterest about what people can do with pallets, and it's really interesting. Who would have thought? But I'm pretty sure you have, obviously, when you look at wood, you probably see something, a project that you can do with that.
The cabinet, the end tables I built, is actually on my webpage.
Oh, cool. Okay.
You could see those on there.
Yeah.
Like with that old wood, something that somebody would throw away, you could take that stuff and make something that's really nice.
Mm-hmm. So what's your favorite type of wood to work with?
That heart pine.
Yeah.
I love. It's a little hard. It's aggravating to work with, which is a challenge, And I really love a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I always have. I always say, I always see room for improvement, in everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you see room for improvement, you will strive to get better at it,
And you never stop, you're never idle, you're busy.
Everything that I've ever done, I've always seen room for improvement in it.
Yeah.
I get to do it, and I say, I could have done that a little different. I made it a little better,
Yeah.
And that heart pine, it's real hard to work with,
Is it really, like you said, it's tight, right? So it must be hard to cut.
It's real gummy. It's got a lot of sap in it. It turns to fat lighter.
Okay.
That's what it turns to. And it'll mess up a lot of blades and stuff like that, and you have to continuously keep them cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
And keep the dust down because it's a little worse than regular sawdust.
Do you think that's why it took so long? You started in October and ended in February. Is that why? Do you think?
It's part of the restoration of the wood, and then you actually got to get the wood down to where it's able to work with, and then you got to start reprofiling it and whatever, cutting it, routing it. Like I routed all of it to make it look like logs and stuff like that.
Yes, you could see, underneath the deck that you had, or, the front porch. I don't know if I'm saying it right. The balcony. You got those logs that are going under it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was videoing and went to the library, I was fascinated by the details and the grooves and the rail, on the porch and the balcony. It's just your attention to detail. You can see in your work that you did in the birdhouse, and I'm sure on the carpentry that you do.
Yes, ma'am. About everything I did on that, I had to make some sort of jig in order to cut some of that stuff because some of it was so small.
Yeah.
And of course you don't want to get too close to a saw blade.
No.
And I had to make some sort of jig in order to run that stuff through the blades and stuff like that, and to get it to work out the way it did. And of course there was a lot of pieces I'd have to. It would mess up when I go through. I have to redo it again.
Yeah.
It's
so, how did you know when you were done? You said you always see room for improvement. Did you feel like, okay, this is it, I'm done, there's nothing else I can do, or did you think maybe, I just need to do that?
There was some other things I would have liked to have done on it. Like on the back, I thought about it. I was going to make some steps that went down off the back,
Uh-huh.
with some handrails. And I said, I don't know. There is a such thing as over decorating something,
Right. Yeah.
and I didn't want to get to that point because I have done that before. I get something real nice, and then I would have a tendency of wanting to do a little better with it, and it'll. It's what I call over decorating.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Then it might be something called gaudy, right? So, do you have anything in your mind about what you want to do for next year? Here I am assuming he's going to do it next year. You are doing it next year, right?
I plan to do it next year.
Good.
Of course, it's going to be some sort of log cabin, because I really love doing log cabins and stuff like that. A log cabin is kind of an image of something old, and I like that's like putting that heart pine into it, and heart pine is old, and it kind of goes together. And of course, I could do one any other way, but I mean, I guess that's kind of what you call it, maybe a signature, on it. That's I just like to do it because there's thousands of plans of log cabins. It's endless,
Right. Now, I have to ask you, if anyone wants to have you customize a birdhouse, would you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, really? So if I say, I want a 3-story, life-size birdhouse, you could do that for me?
Mm-hmm.
So I could live in it?
You could live in it. It would take a while, but it could be done.
Now, you do beautiful work, and I'm sure anyone who went to the mall or to the library and got to see your birdhouse or saw it on TV 35 really enjoyed looking at that, and I really appreciate you allowing us to come out here and talking with us and getting to know you better.
I thank y'all for coming out.
All right, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Around Town.